Knobcon coverage brought to you by Signal Sound and Befaco, Future Sound Systems, Low Gain Electronics, Steady State Fit, Funk and Expert Sleepers.
So we're here at Knobcon with Boredbrain. How's it going?
Hi.
We just had a great rundown of a really nice looking mixer. It'd be nice to do that and show people on a video. I mean, go for it. You've got the thing down. Like, you don't need me to talk to you in this one.
Okay, well, thanks.
I will do, but yeah, let's hear about the new mixer.
Well, I'm Adam from Boredbrain, and today we're announcing a mixer we're going to be releasing around Thanksgiving this year. We've been working on it a long time, and it's called Xcelon. Xcelon is a 6-channel stereo Eurorack mixer, but also every channel can be dual mono, so you basically have 12 inputs there. You can see the 6 stereo inputs here. And then you have CV over volume, balance, effects 1 and effects 2 sends. So that's on the input side. On the output side, we have 2 mix buses. So we have mix A and B, which is selectable on every channel. So it could go from A to B, like so. That gives you a lot of flexibility in the routing, but also because we have the A and B both setting here, you can use it for queuing, you can use it for parallel processing, and then if you're just going to B, you can use it to cut something out quickly, because the effects returns actually feature this switch as well. So here you could send the effects to B and actually sidechain them or something like that.
Yeah, that's nice that you've got a way to either cut a dry sound out quickly or its return, or I presume then cut. If you're doing this like a pre-effect thing, you can cut it post-effect, you can cut the feed or the return. Or
right, you can do some quick cuts and everything, and the fact that you have control over those two, the levels of them independently, makes it a lot better for doing effects. And that's what we do. We love interfacing with effects here at Boredbrain, so that's part of this mixer. That's also why we feature the effects in knobs as the larger knobs here and made them very tactile to use. So on each channel we have, at the input we have a stereo gain here, and there's actually enough gain here to bring line level signals directly in. So I bring my access virus in, it sounds great.
Well, it just lets you scale, like talking to a friend about the TRAS recently, the Roland drum machine, and you can scale the level pre-fader, so you can throw those faders up and down without like needing, there's some mixers where you want to throw it up but you can't go all the way to the top because it's too hot. So having like a trim on the way in with the gain.
Exactly, and that's the way I mix, is I'll put my faders kind of at unity or where I like to stop, and then you can use the gain to set the mix point so that you can always come back to that middle unity point and it sounds the way you intended it to sound.
Yeah,
so,
nice.
Right after that, basically, at least on the panel, you have 2 stereo effect sends. So we have a delay here on this one, and then we have a reverb on this one, and that's pretty typical. Effect send 1 is also selectable pre or post fader on the back panel using jumpers, and that's per channel. So if you like, a lot of wash, or it's something that's very wet sounding or 100% wet, you can achieve that way. There is another way you can do it with the A/B select too, because you could actually have it so you send to B, but the effect send's still active. So you could have no dry at all and have the effects still going. So that's another flexible way to use that actually. We have a balance control, which actually implements a pan law with a negative 4.5 dB compensation curve. We found that actually sounded the best to us too. And that works with CV as well, so everything just pans very nicely. So that we can go left and right with that guy. Then we have this crossfade button, and that essentially turns your channel into a dual mono channel. So we could plug 2 inputs into the same, 2 signals into the same input on a channel, and then we can crossfade between those. So we can have a dual mono channel, so it allows you to get more channels out of it, a kick and a snare, something like that.
Yeah, that's really cool.
The level control here is, we're using long travel, 45 millimeter faders, which is a little bit hard to fit into Eurorack, but after some time designing, we figured out how to do it. And the white LED on them also indicates that position, some with the CV input. You can see over here, this one's being modulated currently. Then we have channel level meters, which we actually trimmed a little hot, so they're not accurate for necessarily when it's peaking. We have a LED for that up here at the input, right here. So we trimmed them a little hot so you can use more of the meter, but you want to be able to see your signal. Those are also configurable behind the panel, so that you can make them pre-fade, DJ style, so you can see the signal even if it's not up. We don't have those configured right now, but I will do that later. And then we implemented clickless mutes on each channel, which also are VCA based. And they have a really quick slew rate on them, but they are clickless. And it's non-latching electronically switched buttons, so they're really fast. Very tactile, and that was kind of the point with that design.
The whole thing seems very tactile, playable, super flexible.
Definitely, and that was the design intent with this, was to be fun and playable and immediate. So you can really have fun with using effect sends, turning up stuff like that, and then like cutting things out for dub effects and bringing them back, and then turning the send back down. So you can get to things very quickly. Let's see, what else? We have an expander we're going to be releasing with this, and the mixer will take 2 expanders. So you can double the amount of channels. The expander is 3 stereo channels, and it looks identical to the first 3 with the 2 row of jacks for the inputs and the CVs.
Yep.
So it'll take 2 of those. And then we also have direct outs planned, and those can be pre or post or both if you have enough output expanders. So there's jacks in the back or connectors in the back, and you can get direct outs, and those will be on 1/4-inch TRS at first. And those will be in a module similar to export, a little bit smaller, and that'll give you 6 channels out on each one, so you can choose which channels you want direct outs. And then in the future we'll do a DB25, multi-DB25 module to give you the whole slew of direct outputs in one go. So yeah, it's very playable. It is very flexible when you use it with our monitor module, which is basically our master output module, because these stereo inputs have VCAs as well, so you can modulate those and use them for ducking and things like that. So you have bus B be your sidechain bus, and then you can also monitor here using the headphone switch here, so you can monitor either one. So if we use channel 2 as basically our headphone monitor, then any of these channels I want to hear in the headphones, I can just make sure they're on channel 2, on the output B.
Yeah, or as you said earlier, both.
Or both. That way you can keep it in the mix and cue it.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of the center position there. So all of these modules were designed together to work together, including the EQ. So they're all designed at the same time, but obviously this one's been the longest one, in the making.
I mean, so there's CV over everything.
Yes.
All the options.
Yeah, fully analog.
I mean, yeah, there's kind of, as I joked about earlier, there's little for me to say because you've thought about it and you've told me about it and you've told us about it.
Right. Well, if you have any questions about it, send them our way. We'll be posting a lot more on social media about it as we ramp up towards, the Black Friday kind of date we want to hit before that.
Well, I'll get links in the description. Have you a price that you're working to yet?
We're shooting for $899. If we can get it lower, that would be great, because we know people may want to expand on it, because, like I said, we only have 6 actual fader channels here, so people may want a few more, even though you can dual up on them. So we want to make sure that people who need something like this in their system have access to it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they are pretty arduous to build, so
man,
we'll do our
everything
best.
being the amount of VCAs in that thing must be insane.
It's a lot, yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, and then pulling things out on all the jumper selectable things like.
Yeah, jumpers are cheap, so those are.
Yeah.
We just made sure we built them in.
Space and
space.
I get it. That's great.
So,
well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you.
Cheers.